Greetings, hi, my name is Asia Davis and welcome to my channel. If you have never been to my channel, I want to say welcome. You are in a great space. I'm a teacher of 10 years. Just a little about myself. I'm a teacher of 10 years and I am basically creating this channel to really help parents really understand the ins and outs of education. Whether your child is in public school, homeschool, etc., these resources that I'll be providing on this channel, you'll find something for you. And I also have a little bit of something for those teachers out there, and of course, plenty of resources for also those students out there. So let's get started. In today's topic, we are talking about how to shape your child's behavior with love and consistency. I will give you guys 6 cool strategies to go ahead and do that. And so let's get into it. As a parent, our role is to guide and teach and model the behaviors we want to see in our kids. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the first strategy. Number 1, set clear boundaries and rules. Okay, children thrive on structure. So when they know what's expected of them, they're more likely to follow through. Okay, so when we go into that, we want to make sure that number 1, we make sure the rules are clear and concise. Okay, so whether that mean maybe sitting down and creating the rules together. Kids, they really don't like too much detail, just straightforward. And please make sure that the list is not crazy long, like a whole 20-page list of rules. That was not good. Okay, so you want to have at least, I would say 5 to 7 rules of thumb for your kid to follow. The younger they are, you probably want to just have 3 rules, right? And then the older they get, maybe you probably want to add in something more consistent and something a little bit more drawn out and detailed. Okay, another cool thing is you want to sit down and you want to have your child also create these rules with you. Okay, when they create rules with you, they're creating an ownership, and it's a great time to make sure they understand the rules and understand the expectations. And if you even want to make it even more fun, you guys can maybe act out during family time, act out what it means to follow the rules, what that looks like, and what does it mean to break the rules, and what does that look like. So when they see the differentiation, then you'll be like, okay, you understand. So if there's a consequence, they understand why, because they've already laid the groundwork for the rules. Okay, so number 1, set clear boundaries and rules. Number 2, you're going to teach your child strong values. In my home, we are Christians, so we follow the Bible as our guide, and we teach our kids how God's principles shape our daily lives. That is the most important thing. I feel like this is the most important rule of all time, because I feel like although those biblical principles they'll have for the rest of their lives. So even when we're not there, they know where to go to find guidance through prayer, through reading their Bible, through action, and taking what they've learned from the Bible and not just put in their head or just say it, but they're also in action showing love and kindness to their fellow man, being honest, etc. Those type of values really go a long way. So whatever your values are in your household, make sure that your kids are understanding those values, and that is going to take them a very long way. And of course, it's like I said, it's going to not just be something that is sewn into them now, but it's also going to be something that they'll probably draw from when they're out of your house and when they're older and an adult. All right, so number 1, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to review over. So number 1, you're setting clear boundaries. Number 2, you're teaching your child clear, strong values. And then number 3, we're going to be consistent with consequences. Now, as a former teacher, I actually could tell the parents that I actually could tell the difference between parents that stood firm on their consequences and those who wavered a lot. And those type of students, I actually had to, put in consequences and expectations in my classroom for them. And when, they broke a rule or whatever case may be, I had to stick with those consequences and I did not waver. All right. Now, kids that ended up still doing the same behaviors and think that there wasn't any consequences, they got definitely a rude awakening when they came into my classroom. So it's very important, not even just for your child in the home, but when they go to somewhere like a daycare or a classroom, they are able to really dig deep and be like, okay, like this teacher that I'm with, she has these consequences, she has these expectations. I know my mom and my dad keep me to a certain standard. So they're less likely to do those behaviors. So when you say, hey, I'm going to do my consequence, whether it be timeout, whether that be loss of privileges, once a rule is broken, it is important to follow up with those consequences immediately. Okay. And then, of course, as the consequences being, depending on your child's emotional state, because of course they're probably going to be upset, you can wait. I would, especially if they're really, really upset and your emotions might be high, their emotions might be high, I would wait until the consequence is over. Then afterwards, go ahead and have a conversation with them to make sure they understand what behavior that you are not willing to tolerate and what they can do to prevent this from happening again, right? But of course, kids are going to be kids. They're going to break rules. We're not all perfect, right? And it's very important to make sure that even when you're doing these consequences, you're saying, hey, I also have to deal with consequences for my actions as well. And I just want you to know as a child that when you break XYZ rules, there will be consequences, but they could be a lot worse as you get older, right? And of course, going back to that value piece as well. As well, when you're saying also be consistent with consequences, you also need to be consistent with praise and good behavior. Oftentimes, without us even really knowing, we're consistently notice bad behavior or unwanted behavior, right? But when our child is doing the right thing, we honestly just be like, oh, they're doing the right thing. Cool. There's no reason to really acknowledge that. No, acknowledge the good and the bad, all right? Because what's going to start happening is that your child will start to mimic these behaviors. And then they're going to be like, oh, mommy and daddy only give me attention when I act out. So let me act out, right? And you don't want that. You don't want your child to, and then when they act out with you, what's going to happen when they go to, grandma's house or to a school or to a park? They're going to act out because they want that attention. Let them crave positive attention. Praise them. You know what? I thank you so much for, when I asked you to clean up your toys, I thank you so much for not getting upset and doing what I asked you to do. Thank you. That was absolutely marvelous. Continually just shower them with praise and positive reinforcement. It's going to go a long way. All right, so number 4, so that was number 3. Number 4, be the example you want them to follow, okay? This is very important. They're all important, but this one I definitely see, especially if you are around children, the park, the library, your own family, you do notice that children literally mirror adults. Okay, so that child that decides to use bad language out of nowhere to express themselves most likely heard it from their parent or someone close to their parents, right? Or even television, right? They're very much influential. So it's very important to be model adults for your children, right? When it comes to how you treat people, when it comes to how you speak to people, when it comes to showing kindness and love and whatever you're doing, you want to mirror that. So guess what? If your child is screaming off the top of their lungs, most likely it's because you scream off the top of your lungs as well. And I'm not gonna lie, like this, I'm speaking to myself, okay? Because as a teacher, my husband had to tell me this, I naturally have a loud voice, okay? I'm always, hello, right? That's just me, right? However, I did notice that, hey, my kids, my 3-year-old and my 1-year-old's not really doing that much, but my 3-year-old, yes, if he's excited, he's going to talk loudly, or he naturally just talks loudly. And it's something that I'm definitely consciously working on so that we can understand there's a time to be at a more normal tone octave. There's a time to be an expressive and loud octave, right? So again, he got that. I can't really fault him for being loud because I'm loud, right? So there's some things that they're just going to pick up from us. That's natural. If it's not really bothering, it's not really being a hindrance in the school environment or the home environment, cool. But we have to remember that we want to be the examples for our children in the good way, not the bad way. Okay? So also, like I said, model patience, kindness, respect. Let them see you. They should not see you fussing out somebody. Okay? Because this is going to happen. They're going to probably have that same attitude, that same mannerisms when they're dealing with their friends. You know what I'm saying? You want them to be able to collaborate and to, really work with other people in the best way. I guess that's the best way I can say that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and follow again. Be the example you want them to follow. Okay? And I think most of y'all know what I mean by that. We're gonna go ahead and move on. All right, so number 5, we are almost to the end here, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. If you enjoyed what you have heard so far and you would love more content like this, I would love for you to like, comment, and subscribe, please. And I also have a wonderful website called Divine Learning and Publishing, where I have books, I have coaching sessions, I have all sorts of things that will help you be the best parent you can be for your child's education, for their behavior, ADHD help, anxiety help, all of that stuff. Great promotional codes, everything you can think of. It's all there. So please check that out if you get a chance, if you really are enjoying this. And it will be of great value if you guys check that out and see what from my website you enjoy, what you would like, okay? But anyway, remember, like, comment, subscribe. Let's go ahead and get back to these last 2 strategies. So number 5, encourage an active and healthy lifestyle, okay? This one I had to just think about because I was like, whoa. My child is a toddler, okay? He's a toddler. I also tutor a lot of children, basically, I would say upper elementary school, middle school, some high school, okay? And what I noticed, even in my classroom as well, when I was also teaching in the brick and mortar environment, if the kids were sitting there all day, I made it a point to make sure they were active, doing a Go Noodle, a Danny Go, we doing some type of running activity in the classroom. Yes, 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes every single day, morning, noon, and night. Because guess what? Kids have energy, especially boys, because there's also some science on that, on why they are a little bit more energetic. And I'll also be having more videos about this when it comes to the ADHD realm and all the other stuff. But yes, so my toddler, we walk all the way to the park. It's about 4 miles. And we walk back, okay? And, well, he's actually in a stroller. But he's active. He's active. I make sure that he at least gets some activity in at least an hour in the morning, 30 minutes to an hour in the morning, about 30 minutes to an hour in the evening, and then, of course, 30 minutes an hour. At least 3 hours of activity time outside if I can. If not, guess what? We are doing gymnastics videos. We are jumping. We are running. We are playing. We are doing everything in this house to make sure that his energy levels are depleted so he can take a nap, okay? So I think that, of course, just having an active lifestyle, especially when we're in front of our phones, we're in front of our tablets, we're in front of our laptops, and all those things, and books sometimes for some people, but all those things can really hinder your child if they're not going outside and running and knowing what it's like to kind of skin their knee when they're riding their bike and stuff like that. They need that outside ambiance and they need to burn that energy, okay? So go ahead, make sure they're active. If you're doing a workout, don't mind your kids just going along with you as well, all right? And remember, being the example you want them to see. So guess what? If you're not active, they're not going to be active, which is another reason why I've decided to make sure that they see me working out, they see me drinking my water, they see me eating fruits and vegetables and protein, staying away from carbs, etc., processed carbs, etc. That is important. And of course, the healthy lifestyle piece, okay? A lot of those, another video, but a lot of those sugars and a lot of those chemicals that are within our food that they're basically right now really having they're going in on the government right now as far as when it comes to what's in our food. It's a lot of conversation about it, but a lot of that stuff is the reason why your child is hyperactive, right? So instead of giving them the gummies and the fruit roll-ups and the chips and stuff, go ahead and give them an apple. Go ahead and give them, a Greek yogurt ranch dressing with some carrots, right? And just switch slowly but surely. You might not have to do everything all at once, but slowly but surely go ahead and give them a better diet. And I bet you within a year or two of just being consistent with a healthier diet, being active, your child will mellow out. I know my child is definitely a lot more, just from going outside on a more consistent basis, very chill. Okay, on the days that this week it's been a lot of rain and we weren't able to get outside, and I do notice the heightened levels when it comes to just activity, his energy. And I love his energy. I have a lot of energy as well. So yes, make sure that you encourage an active, healthy lifestyle, and that will all transcend 1 to 2 hours of physical activity at least 3 times a day. In school, they're most likely not doing that. That's why I feel like it is the responsibility of the teachers to make sure that the kids are being active. They can still actively learn and still move out of their seats. They can act, they can move around, they can jump when it comes to numbers and all sorts of stuff. So I'm definitely going to be showing some tips for homeschool parents as well. You know, like I was homeschooled, and honestly, I feel like I was pretty active though. I would go to the gym a lot, but just really just making sure that your child is constantly moving, constantly being active. Their behavior will turn around for the better. I promise you. And there's a lot of research to back that up. So go ahead and check out my website. I'm gonna have some articles that you guys can look through and some blog posts to really kind of go deep into that conversation, because you can see I've literally talked about that for like 4 minutes. Okay, let's go ahead and continue to our last strategy. Let's spend quality time together. Okay, quality time together. Oftentimes children are acting out or misbehaving because you are not spending quality time with them. Okay, again, we are in the age of technology. We're in the age of the fast-paced life, and sometimes the fast-paced life, it goes so fast that you just forget what's really important, and that is your family, that is your children. Okay, there's 24 hours in the day. 8 of those hours you should be sleeping. Okay, that's a healthy amount. 6 to 8 hours a day. Okay, 24 divided by 8, or whatever the case may be. So anyway, you have 8 hours of sleep. The rest of the time, you're probably working, or, if you homeschool, you're homeschooling your children. You know how your day is set up. You have children that are going to impact the world someday. And prayerfully, depending on how you parent them, they will be a great asset to society. They'll be a great asset to their own families that they create. They'll be great assets to their own community. What we can do by minimum is invest in our children. And by investing in our children, invest in quality time with them. Okay? And you're probably like, I don't have enough time, quality time. And when I tell you guys how much time you should be spending, some people might be like, oh, I do that every day. And some people might be like, no, not at all. So you should set aside about, on average, 3 hours of quality time daily. Okay? So as soon as they come home from school, all that time should be you and your kids. I understand you probably need some time to decompress, do what you need to do. Self-care, we're going to be talking about that as well, is super important. But just doing quality time. And guys, quality time, you can match that in with anything. You got dishes to do? Tell your child to come on over. They like to watch you wash the dishes. I know, especially younger kids. They love watching you do chores until you actually give them chores to do, right? So while they're already eager to be like, hey, they keep, touching the dishes and stuff, go ahead and be like, okay, pull up a chair. You want to help me wash dishes? And then go ahead and just talk to them. Read to them, bake with them, right? When they're outside enjoying their activity, throw a ball back and forth, help them on their bike. There's so many different things you can do. If they're older, start a chapter book together, or look through the news, or look through whatever interests you guys, the Bible, whatever case may be, and talk about it. And really use that time to really talk one-on-one with your child. A lot of times, if they're acting out, no matter what age they are, it's because they're missing that quality time piece. They want to know you. Okay? They don't want to just be in that. There's also a big difference between sitting in your classroom. There's also a big difference in sitting in your not classroom, but you're sitting in your home and being on your phone, and your child is in the same room, or y'all both watching a movie. But watching a movie can be quality time, but I feel like it's only quality time if you like stop it and talk about it or something like that. If you guys are just kind of just sitting there and just being, I don't really know if that's necessarily quality time, unless your child's like, hey, can you watch this movie with me and then show me what you think? Kind of extend it a little bit. In my household, I love games. Okay, quizzes, Kahoots. I'm the teacher's teacher. I love games, so I'll just go ahead and put a trivia game. I know my kids are a lot younger, so I do a lot of reading. We read a lot of books. I play with them a lot as far as like going outside. We play tag, we play Duck Duck Goose. We sing songs together. I've had my child recently bake with me, do dishes with me, all sorts of stuff. There's a plethora of things. So whatever you want to do, it's not rigid. It's not just one size fits all. You know what you enjoy to do. You know what your kids enjoy. You know what you like to do. Just spend quality time, and that is going to go such a long way. These moments create connection, security, and behavior in a long run. And when things go crazy, And when things go crazy in their lives, guys, I was just going, but when things go crazy in their lives, the moments they create connections, security, and behavior in the long run. All right. So all these things are going to be so helpful for your child as they grow and as they become the man or woman that you help mold them to be. So that is always important. And that was the last strategy. So use that quality time wisely. There's so many fun things out there to do with them. Make sure that it's not just sitting in front of a movie theater. Like I said, like you guys are actually having fun together, having conversations, playing outside with your little ones. There's so many things. Painting, you can go into it. But yes. And then a few final thoughts. At the end of the day, parenting is about consistency, love, and intentionality. Set boundaries, model the behavior you want to see, keep them active, and make time for them. You'll see a huge difference in how your child behaves and interacts with the world around them. Okay, if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And let me know in the comments which of these strategies you'll be trying. See you the next time.